why would you ever want to come up with new products? And the answer is because you have to. That will be on the top. So I want to talk about the need for innovation and what is new. You may have heard the saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And in business, that's not quite true. If it ain't broke, milk it. We'll talk about that when we talk about the Boston Consulting Group matrix. But business is a moving target. Just because you're profitable today doesn't mean that what you are going to be doing today is going to have value to customers tomorrow. So you always need to be aware of what's driving customer satisfaction now, and where the business is going in the future is what we are going to do have relevance. I'm thinking of one of the classic positioning statements we just talked about. Positioning was Gerber baby food, and Gerber products in the 50s and the 60s during the baby boom. Their motto was "Babies are our business, our only business," which was great. But then the babies grew up. Yeah, and what do we do when babies are our only business? And then they moved into Gerber Juniors and Gerber. Just trying to understand that babies may not be our only business if I want to have a sustainable business over time. So we need to come up with new products. One, because the world is changing all the time, and disruptive technologies may put your business out of business. Just ask anybody in the publishing industry whether or not technology can impact your business model. And then just competitive pressure. As we remember from, and I guess, is Econ 101 microeconomics? Or we have it here, it's Econ 100, right? Anyways, basic microeconomics. What happens if you're making money? The invisible hand. What happens when you're making money? You pay taxes, unless you're smart. That's just business. So, what happens when you're making money? By definition, people get into the business. You attract competition. So the idea is that if you are successful right now, understand that there may be something in the technological situation that's going to impact your business, and competitors are going to go after you. You need to always be looking for what's the next act, what are you going to do. This is a 1998 study that I think does a really good job of making the case. It's an older study, but it was a fairly comprehensive study. It studied 11,000 new products over 5 years. And what they found is that people who were really good at new products got 39% of their sales from new products, twice as much profit, and half the failure rate as companies that weren't very good. And we'll talk about that in a little more detail in a second. The companies that weren't so good at new products got 23% of their sales from new products, half of the profit of the good companies, and 50% failure. Yeah?
Does this mean companies that are good at pumping out new products, or they're doing the products that they're doing well, or both?
So the question was, does this mean companies are good at pumping out new products, or are they good at pumping out good new products? And the answer is yes. If you're getting 39% of your sales from new products, customers seem to be accepting your new products. And we'll talk about it's not as easy as it looks to come up with new products, because the vast majority of them fail, even when you're good. So a couple of approaches from a business standpoint is the proactive approach, is where you really need to understand that you need to have new products in the pipeline in order to have a long-term sustainable business, and you try to organize your business in order to incorporate and adopt new product ideas. The reactive approach is wait until your competitors have eaten all of your profit margin and your market has gone to nowhere, and say, what do we do now? Time for a pivot. And the problem with that approach is a lot of times by the time you realize that our core product is not going to be good for very long, a lot of times when you come to that point, you have drained a lot of resources. You're not in a really strong financial position to be making that pivot. So it's better to be proactive.